Nothing we say is investment advice. Please pause on all 3 pages of this disclaimer and read it.
Good morning, everybody. Nick here, aka Cowboy, and we're taking a look at USDJPY. We did just have some news come out, but the Japanese yen is getting pretty strong right now. And if you look at USDJPY or even GBPJPY, that's an indication that Japanese yen is getting strong because the dollar is not really moving that much compared to, say, like the euro in this same time, right? It's just kind of going sideways. Euro is kind of holding up, if you will. So the Japanese yen getting strong historically can mean that money is leaving the stock market. And yeah, sure, we've had a pullback, but the NASDAQ futures did pop up nicely overnight. Let's take a look at that really quick. And it might kind of put the brakes on the Japanese yen. We'll see. The interesting thing about the NASDAQ futures, it had this local low, right? So price started to fall 22 September, made a low at 24,420, has since popped back up to almost reclaim those highs, but it's headed down after doing that. Now, algorithmically, let me see if there's vulnerability in the chart and whether or not the market expects more down. It's possible there is a little bit of vulnerability algorithmically, right? So that means that it's possible that the NASDAQ could actually continue down a bit. And of course, we have, we've got war on the horizon. We've got, all kinds of different issues in the economy. So it might be that this pattern is a little bit of a local top pattern where price came up, made a top, came down, tried to reclaim, and now may head down. But right now, I would not expect the NASDAQ. I have 2 areas where I think it will probably get caught and pushed back up. One is where it already happened at 24,420, right? And this relates to Japanese yen, so stand by. We'll talk about that. And then we're going to look at Bitcoin. So until then, though, let's stick to the subject. This will probably be the bottom. It may or may not be, but if that's the case, price might go sideways until it breaks highs again. We do see rate cuts on the horizon. We got a lot of money coming into the US because of the fear of war. There are a lot of reasons why this could just continue to get pushed up. But what it looks like we're seeing right now is just a short-term triangular consolidation where price gets into a tighter area. And we'll see, this may not happen. It's just what it looks like is going to happen, right? I'm not really big on trading or charting triangular consolidations, but if we do get basically sideways movement from here and price never goes below that 24,000, at least not in the near term, then there's a really good chance at some point it's going to pop right back up and start to make the highs. If price breaks below 24,000, it may be that pullback just kind of gets extended, and it's not likely to go below 24,75, like 24,075. So we'll see about it. For the moment, that's just going to be the look at the NASDAQ, and the theory that money is rushing into the Japanese yen might be that the market fears that, or, Governor Ueda, I believe he speaks tonight. Let's see when that happens. It may have been last night, and that might be why this whole thing happened. Let's take a look. Let's see. Monday, Bank of Japan was on a bank holiday. I don't see anything on Tuesday or Wednesday, so it might be Thursday. I thought Governor Ueda speaks this week. It may be that either that was changed or my memory is not serving me properly, because I could have sworn that we were going to see or hear, I should say, from Governor Ueda, the Bank of Japan's Governor Ueda, but that may have been changed. So either money's flowing into the yen and it's pushing the yen up, which is pushing USDJPY down. I mean, it is definitely doing that. But either it's because of stock market fears or it's because of something else. But the bottom of this sort of range, and this is not the best drawn range, I'd say this might be the best way to draw it with a couple of deviations. I'd look at the bottom down here at 145.85. So as price gets down into that area, and maybe not even quite there, because there's a lot of reversals that happen before that area. You see a lot of reversals kind of right here. It may be that either here or anywhere between here and there, you see a bounce. And this is a pretty long extension down. Japanese yen should have a bounce. It will at some point. Take a look at the algos here. Yeah, high time frame volatility is not really there for the Japanese yen. You can see on the monthly chart here that it's just kind of in a range. And then if you look at the weekly, it's super choppy, right? It's in that range that we just basically drew on the weekly. So it hit the top of the range, going towards the bottom of the range, and the range traders will be in at the bottom. So very likely that what will happen is, as I said before, Japanese yen will come to that area here and either where it is now or down to the bottom of the yellow box and bounce. Very, very likely to see that happen. So that's that. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. And by the way, if you're watching this, you have any questions, let me know. Okay, so good. It did finally. My Monday prediction is basically this. If we go over to this chart and look at Bitcoin, this was the prediction I made on Monday. I'll have a new mouse, by the way. Originally, the prediction was this trajectory, but then I added this even steeper trajectory while I was doing the video. And yes, it is following that as we speak. So that's the original, algorithmic. I mean, this is kind of messy. It's not like I predicted it perfectly. I have this prediction, that prediction, but the latest prediction, and I drew it live, or at least while I was recording, was this steeper one. And then basically Bitcoin was supposed to go up. I just didn't know how hard it would go up. Right. So, easy to be right when you do 4 different projections, but I didn't really do one that goes down or, so not too impressive with the projections, but here you'll see this yellow box right here, and that was liquidity. So price did finally go through that liquidity, and we did talk about that on the show. It never went down to grab this lower liquidity. The algos were just too bullish. The price was too bullish, and then that was a big bounce. Right here off of 108.5, and so 118 is the local high. And an extension all the way to 118 would be pretty impressive. So I'm going to get rid of this liquidity box. We're going to take a look at the Kingfisher, look at liquidity, and this might be all we have time for is to take a look at Bitcoin. We might have time for Solana. So liquidity topside is all grabbed up, and you have a lot of liquidity sitting at 11,300, which is still on the chart where I left it down here, but a little bit lower than this. So it's actually, it's basically that same area, like right there. And then if you go back to the Kingfisher, there are a lot of liquidations between 113,700 and let's just say 114.3. So 113.7 and 114.3. So let me go ahead and put a box there. One of these yellow boxes. 113.7 and 114.3. So this box that I'm about to code yellow, there's a lot of liquidity right there. And it makes sense because if you take a look at the price action, now these are liquidations on the leverage exchanges, and then you just have standard liquidity right here around that, which I will code blue. And this can actually, at some point, this may want to pull back. Let me take a brief look at the algo screen here. There's still a lot of bullishness left in Bitcoin right now. So the pullback is, let's just say if Bitcoin were to pull back to grab that liquidity, it probably would be a quick sweep. That's kind of a broad range for it to pull back during such a strong time. But if it did that, it would be a quick move, and then I think back up. And I just don't see it happening right now. I would need to see price become short-term a little bit more bearish before it were to do such a thing, right? Good morning, V. How you doing?
Goodness of mornings, my friend.
Goodness of mornings. You got here just in time to get us over to the private live lab where we will talk about Solana. We'll talk about gold, silver, all kinds of good stuff. So if you could get us over there, I'd be greatly appreciative.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Follow us over. Learn how to trade like a hedge fund pro. Learn how to profit from the chaos, whether the market's up or it's crashing. Learn how you can be cashing out and taking down big bags for yourself and for your family. Join us, algofactory.tech. Take it away, Cowboy.
Join us or die.
Just kidding. You're not going to die. We love you.